down to the Daily Dodge TV studios with Terry Bell for today's community comment.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome everybody to Community Comments. Our guest today is Sarah Conoyer, the director of the Beaver Dam Community Library. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning. I am happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, as we start off every show, every time you've been joining us since last year, get us up to date on the changes at the library.
Awesome. 1701, our temporary location, is plugging away, and I hear some construction noise here.
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. Makes me feel at home. So 1701 is going great, but we are making substantial progress at 311, the permanent building that's been under renovation. Usually when I'm here, I'm either just had a progress meeting or I'm going to one in the afternoon. But this one is different. Tomorrow I have a punch list meeting, and so that'll be a walkthrough of substantial completion. Carpet is in, tile is in, the casework, which is the cabinetry, the information and welcome desk, the circulation desk and youth desk. Those are all in, and there are still some items in progress. HVAC, so the air handler, some motors that were part of an update, and lighting that we are waiting on ship dates for, but we are so close. I hear people look through the windows and think it looks great.
Okay, before we go any further, I think we're going to take a quick break here, see what we can do about this construction behind us, and be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
be powered by Daily Dodge, presented by Professional Floor Covering.
And we are back with more community comment here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. In those Daily Dodge TV studios, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody, to Community Comment. My guest today is Sarah Canoyer, the director of the Beaver Dam Community Library. And thanks for being patient with us, Sarah, and working through some technical difficulties. Why don't we start from the top? Everybody's curious when you come on the show each month about where we're at, the library renovation on Spring Street.
Sure. So we are nearing substantial completion. That's the technical term that they use in the contracts. And what that really means is that we're nearly there, almost done. So carpet is in, tile is in the new vestibule and restrooms. The casework is in, which is the cabinetry. So the circulation desk, the information and welcome desk, the youth desk, those are all built-ins, as well as new cabinets in the community room. They look really nice. We're excited about those. They'll be very functional and kind of segue from the service model that we've introduced at our temporary location into having that information welcome station with the technology area near the front entry of the library. Usually, I tell you, I've got my progress meetings scheduled, and those are on Wednesdays. Well, there isn't one today, but there is a punch list meeting tomorrow. So we'll have all the stakeholders, and I will be doing a walkthrough and checking where we're at with what's finished. HVAC and lighting, there's still a little bit to go with that, so I'll learn a little bit more about it tomorrow.
That's fantastic. And I understand you have some big news to share with us today.
We do. So this is the information a lot of people have been waiting for. We get asked a lot, when will you be moving back to 311? So those move dates, the library board has signed the contract with the movers, and those dates will be April 15th to May 16th. So we'll be closed on April 15th, which is a Wednesday, and we'll be reopening in the permanent location at 311 North Spring Street on Monday, May 18th.
Right, and that's, boy, it's got to feel good to get to this point, doesn't it?
It's really fantastic. Yeah, this has been a big effort, a big move. And so even just the relocation, we've been in that location since September, but the conceptual planning for this, the fundraising for this effort has been ongoing since 2019. So really 7 years of work, and I can see the finish line, and it looks great. So very excited about this.
Oh, absolutely. I think the whole community is excited.
Yeah.
So what will be the big differences when people go into the new library? What differences are they going to notice, not only in aesthetics, but also in service?
Okay. Well, aesthetics, the key thing to know is the entry. The only entry, the main entry, will be under the mural off of the parking lot. And I was over there recently for a progress meeting, and I was speaking to a parent who was waiting for their middle schooler, and she said, I just love this new entrance. I haven't even been in yet, but it looks so welcoming. It's so convenient. It's easy. So those were the three key points. I think the library set up before renovation. Sometimes the way people came in and was confusing. So now an improvement in innovation they'll notice is coming in through that front entry. The meeting room will be to the left. The community room, we're still kind of working out the names because now we've got basically a community room, a conference room, 2 small study rooms, and a slightly larger one. So there's 5 rooms that'll be available for public use. So that's something that's different that everybody can look forward to. Services, other than that, we're going to continue our same stellar, friendly service. Our staff is one of our greatest assets, and really appreciate them, as does the community when they shared their love in February with the love letters to the library. Other things besides the meeting rooms that will be different will be that technology area near the front. There'll be more spaces for people who are working wirelessly. The local history section will be there, so we're hoping to streamline that. About a year before we moved, we digitized our microfilm collection of local and historical newspapers from the area. So that was so helpful. We have people who come regularly, once or more per week, to search those online. You have full access to those within the library with your library card. And trying to think what else we've got introduced. I've been, thinking of all the logistics of the move.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would have to think that the renovations cover a couple of issues. One, this was a 1980s era building, so there were, some structural things that needed addressing. Just things get, worn down and get to the end of their lifespan on the one hand. And two, modern libraries have come a long way in 40, 50 years.
Yes, so those are good points, Terry. With accessibility and end of life, we will have 3 restrooms, all uses. They all have changing tables. The one in the vestibule will have a universal adjustable height changing table, so that is usable for people throughout their entire lifespan. And if you've seen, you may have seen Changing Spaces. It's an organization that is pushing for these types of changing tables within public building spaces throughout the United States. So we're really proud to be joining some of our other libraries in the state. There's just a handful of us so far that will be fully accessible this way. Windows, speaking of end-of-life stuff, our windows, we had 50 of those that needed to be replaced as being end-of-life. 28 of the sills also had to be replaced. They weren't sure until they got in and started taking those out how many would have moderate to severe water damage. So it was very timely to replace those. And that work is finishing up. They look great. They're going to be sealed tight. Super exciting. What else are you thinking about? Or?
Sure. Well, I'm just thinking about, I've seen a lot of new libraries that have been built within the last 20 years and have really marveled at how much more they have to offer than the libraries I remember growing up with a long time ago.
Sure. So I guess one of the things a lot of people remember, the shush kind of libraries. The building is going to continue to have that open floor plan we've always had, which doesn't always equal a quiet library, especially when you're encouraging families and children, especially when you've got people who are on the computers and they may have to make a phone call to the organization or the entity that they're working with. But now that we've got those meeting rooms, we have quiet study spaces or quiet spaces that people can go. The reading room is going to be really neat. I believe the fireplace is installed. I'll know for sure tomorrow when
That's a good example. The library never used to have a fireplace when I was growing up.
It did not. And I know, some people are wondering, this is an electric fireplace. So it has good longevity. When we selected, we had 3 different choices of fireplaces. So this one, the components last the longest time. It produces a really neat look. Electric fireplaces have come a long way. They put one in Monona a couple of years ago in their public library, and people really love it. And it's the least expensive to operate and the longest lasting with the least expensive replacement components. So we think that was a really solid investment. And, you know, people are looking for ambiance now too at the library. Like, you have a couple of people who want to work on puzzles. We'll have our community puzzle table in the new reading room, and they'll be able to enjoy that ambience of the fireplace. There'll be lots of, there are some new windows. So we've always been blessed with a lot of natural light, which I love. It's something I miss at the temporary space. I work in a windowless room. So I'm really excited to get back to our well-lit spot, but that'll be something new too, is some more natural light at ground level.
Just a couple more minutes left in the segment. I believe you mentioned that all these exciting changes will have to necessitate, once again, a pause in service to account for the move. About a month or so?
Yes, so we've got a really tight schedule. The staff and I met with our movers this morning and got the tentative schedule. We will be closed from April 15th and reopen on Monday, May 18th. During that time, the book drops and the buildings will be closed to the public. Like last time when we closed, we're encouraging people to use the neighboring libraries. Monarch Libraries, we've got those all around us, so we can talk more about those. But yeah, I think the key point will extend due dates, but we do have to close. And I've got some fun facts about how many semi-loads, how many carts. And I welcome questions. Terry didn't mention it, but feel free to call.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll get to more of that in just a minute. We do need to take a quick break for the news right now, but we'll be right back. You're listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Daily Dodge TV studios with Terry Bell for more of today's community comment.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome back to Community Comment. Our guest today is Sarah Conoyer, the director of the Beaver Dam Community Library. She's sharing some exciting news, is that the library on 311 North Spring Street is nearly complete. The renovation that has been going on since last fall. The grand reopening, at least the first day in business in the newly renovated 311, will be Monday, May 18th. You heard it right here first. If you have any questions or comments about this exciting news, we invite you to join the program. You can call us or text us at 920-887-9595, or you can call the WBEV studio line at 885-4446. And Sarah, you brought with you some information, some fun facts, if you will, that are not only fun, but it really gives us an appreciation of just the scope of this project.
Yes, so this morning before I came here, staff and I had a meeting with our movers, and they are the same company that moved us to the temporary location. Great job. We came in well under budget, so that was always a fantastic thing. But they shared some fun facts, and I thought I would share them with you. So one of the library cart porter racks, which is basically a big double-sided plywood bookshelf on wheels, can hold 21.5 linear feet of shelf space. And they said pretty much you can kind of figure 20 feet of linear shelf space. So they are going to be delivering 350 carts that our staff will load up, and then they'll come in and they will break down all the shelving. There are going to be 3 semis full of shelving. That's all of the frames, that's the shelves themselves, that they will be moving over from the temporary place to 311 and building back up. We're talking over 100,000 items of materials, between 7,000 and 7,500 linear feet of shelf space. That's 8 semi-loads of books. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a whole lot. They're not just books, though. It's also the DVDs. It's also the playaways and the Wazoodles and all of the various library
physical
materials.
Yeah. Eight truckloads?
Yes, 8
semi-truckloads. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. And then about 3 of furniture and contents, the supplies and equipment that we need to do our jobs and to serve the public. So 14 semi-loads, 350 carts will be closed for 1 month to execute all of that packing and unpacking and being ready to welcome everybody into the new space.
Mm-hmm. There are some things that you're asking people to be sure to help you with that move, and that's to get some of that physical material and some electronics returned to you soon, so there's an accounting for it?
Yes, so actually there's 2 things. As you say, Terry, we're asking for the items with the short shelf return or short lending period, the adventure passes, like the Zoo Pass and the Children's Museum Pass, the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame Pass, those all have to come back by April 11th, along with the hotspots and the Rokus. So those 3 types of items we want back at the library by April 11th. Everything else, if you check it out, we don't have to move it, and we'll be extending the due date. So if you really want to help, that's one thing you can do. Visit the library, check some things out before we move on April 15th. Host them at your house for a little while, and be stocked up so that while we're closed, you have those physical materials. And while we're closed, much like when we move to the temporary space, we're going to encourage people to visit other Monarch libraries, our neighbor libraries. You can return books there and they'll get checked in there, or your library items. You can, if you've got new or pending holds, so the ones that haven't arrived at the library yet. And this, I guess I would start looking at your holds list in April, because we will be open through Tuesday, April 14th. But then you could change it. Like if you're willing to go to Fox Lake, if you're willing to go to Juneau, maybe you work in Waupun, any of our neighbor libraries, Reeseville, they just had their grand opening after their renovation last Saturday. So if you're willing to visit any of those other libraries, you can check things out there with your Beaver Dam Monarch Library card, and you can return items there. Just be aware that anything checked out at another library is subject to their due dates, lending periods, and if they have overdue fines or not, because Beaver Dam is a fine-free library except for late fees on those Adventure Passes, hotspots, and Rokus I mentioned earlier.
Okay. Share with us some of those details about the remodeling that are just so interesting. Starting with the starting date, this has been going on since September of last year.
That's right. So construction, we were closed last August for the move, and construction kicked off at the beginning of September. We anticipated 6 to 9 months with delays, so we are kind of hitting that 8th month right in the ballpark.
Yeah, in fact, you got like right in the middle of that window. There didn't seem to be any significant problems or delays that I'm aware of, anyway.
No, there were some surprises, as any remodel might have, but those were things like a beam that wasn't on the original drawings that got solved for, and there's a really big piece of the air handler that they had to get creative and do a mock-up to figure out how they were moving that in and to the air handler where it was going to be installed, because it's like a 9-foot by 5-foot component. And yeah, this has gone really, really well. And the cost, we were in budget, we're on time. So
the $2.25 million cost, that is the cost of renovating 311.
correct. That does not include the roof and replacement of those end-of-life clear story windows along the spine of the building that the city put in. That was $1.2 million. But yes, this is phase 1 of the renovation, which is the full first floor, and also the replacement of those 50 end-of-life windows.
So there's a phase 2 coming then?
Phase 2 will be coming. Yes, we're going to celebrate the successful completion of phase 1, but phase 2. So, like I said, we've been planning this since 2019, fundraising since April of 2024. We got the study, I think, from the architect, space study in 2023, and costs increased. I mean, it happens everywhere all the time with all kinds of items. So those construction costs did go up a bit. And we had thought we'd be able to complete both the lower level, the patio on Spring Street, and the full first floor renovation with those funds, the $2.25 million. But that didn't buy the same amount of stuff that it did 2 years earlier. So phase 2 will be the lower level. It will be a larger community room space, and eventually will include a kitchenette, which will make crafting programs, community events, cooking programs, and other food sustainability programs much easier. But what the library board did is the wall is there, plumbing is in, the Electrical is already just ready and waiting. So phase 2, lower level, and the patio. So we hope to do that in the next 1 to 3 years is my goal. So,
Okay, a lot to look forward to. We need to take a quick break right here. We're talking to Sarah Canoyer of the Beaver Dam Community Library on this edition of Community Comment. We'll be right back. You're listening to 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
You can do today's community comment. So in the Daily Dodge TV studios, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you very much, Jake, and welcome back, everybody. We are talking to Beaver Dam Community Library Director Sarah Canoyer on this edition of Community Comment. She shared some exciting news with us earlier in the program. The library will be ready for use after about 8 months of renovations. The library will open again on April 18th. And
May 18th.
May 18th, I'm so sorry. It's going to close in mid-April.
Yes.
And then, so May 18th is when everybody will be welcome back at the traditional Beaver Dam Library Place, 311 North Spring Street. Tell me now that we're coming to the end of the time in the temporary space, how that worked out for you.
It has been fantastic. People liked the parking lot. They liked the proximity to places that they normally do their shopping, and were able to fold it into their routine. There were people who lived on this side of town who came in and were new users. and others who just said, oh, this is so great. It's just right by where I live. So we did like that. We're only a mile and a half down the road, so it's not a huge thing. But yeah, the temporary space has been great. Programming has worked out very well there. The service model of having our technology center up front and welcome desk, we really like that. You know, staff and our visitors really like that. If they know where they're going, they get a smile if they want to be greeted. You know, sometimes you read body language, but if they know where they're going, then they just head on and do that after they say hello or we say hello. Or if they aren't sure what they're trying to accomplish, then they've got a very clear point of service where they can ask and get the help they're looking for, or, you know, which way is fiction or large print.
For sure, for sure. Well, I'm glad that all worked out so well. So looking ahead now, in addition to all the busyness, will be the normal programming that the library offers, different events and opportunities that people can avail themselves of. Why don't you point out some highlights for us, please, in the weeks to come?
Sure. So we will be programming right up through April 13th. The last day which is a Monday, the last day will be open to the public is Tuesday the 14th, and we're closed April 15th. So when you get your tax forms early, come visit us for that if you need it, because we'll be closed on the 15th. Let's see. We've got Fiber Crafters Social this Saturday. Board game social coming up. Gaming is just really popular in all sorts of venues around town. There are a lot of opportunities, but ours is from 5 to 6:30 on Tuesday the 24th. We're excited to welcome Kurt Sampson and Gary Meyer to do a history talk on the effigy mounds in Dodge County. That will be on Wednesday, March 25th.
Well, I know they have a lot of passion for that topic.
They sure do. Kurt has written a book. I think it may be co-authored. But yeah, we're very excited. There is a large interest, a lot of interest in local history and the effigy mounds. For kids, the music and movement, Miss Sam was not well last time and she had to cancel. So this will be our first music and movement on the 27th of March, rather, at 9:30 in the morning. So if you've got wiggle worms or kids who like to move and be active, maybe you've thought that story time wasn't a good fit because your child doesn't stay still, and hint, we know that they don't, so don't let that stop you from coming to story time if you have a busy little one. But music and movement is all about those gross motor skills, singing, dancing, even, you know, remember the game like musical chairs or freeze dance?
Oh, sure.
Freeze dance in particular is really good at helping kids learn impulse control.
Oh, I
because you
suppose.
have to stop on cue, and you move and you move, and then you hold it and wait until it's time to go again. So Miss Sam has all sorts of fun stuff, but there is good child development happening at these opportunities as well. And story time continues through April 30th. So that'll be the last story time. And then Connect and Play will be happening on Monday, April 13th. We've got the regular Lego Club. We've got a really exciting Grow It, part of our Grow It gardening series. Our winter gardening series was really well attended. Lots and lots of folks came out to learn about seed starting and is winter sowing and doing windowsill herbs. So Bill Hoke, who was a professor at the University of Montana, back in the area, he is going to do a pruning workshop for free on Tuesday, April 7th. And let's see what else. There's a special Saturday story time on Saturday, April 4th, and one instance of Pokemon Club happening Saturday, April 4th. We know that the Pokemon Club fans love that, so we're going to make sure we fit you in before we're closed, and you have to hold on for 6 weeks or so.
We've been talking a lot about what's available to kids. There's a great opportunity, I think, coming up on Monday the 30th for people with dementia, and I'm guessing they're adult children who can benefit from a dementia-friendly event.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Terry. So this was Memory Mondays, is a once-a-month program that we launched 2 months ago. So this will be the third instance. Anita Strike, our Information and Community Services librarian, leads these. She's well known in the community. And this is an opportunity for those with dementia and their caregivers to come and do something social. So there's an activity available, but that's not really the point necessarily. It's something that some folks will do, like many of our all ages and abilities. You opt in to how it's interesting for you. But what the real goal is to provide an opportunity for people to come together, to socialize, to get out of the house. It's good for all of us to have that human connection. It can really be helpful for caregivers who their lives have changed as much as those with dementia, how those things are happening. And so there will be a memory box craft. So those who want to do something hands-on, this is oftentimes we also have other coloring out or just low-key things that don't require people necessarily to, they're just there for something to do while you're talking. We also include, we've got kits that can be checked out, State Sharp kits. So sometimes these things are also about prompting memories. We know with dementia that sometimes things that happened in the past are much easier. They're memories that are long held, and a fun way to engage with somebody who is having trouble with the short-term memory, day-to-day stuff, maybe remembering more recent things. So the library has a lot of stuff as a dementia-friendly organization that is available to help spark those conversations, or just to give opportunities. You know, if you're visiting parents and who, or perhaps they have dementia and you've got young children. Some of these are like picture-based books that maybe are about tractors, things that hold appeal for all ages, fashion, gardening. There are a lot of topics, and we're always open to suggestions for developing more.
Very good. Well, our time is quickly winding down. Just want to make one more mention of the fact that the temporary location is closing on April 15th. And
Yes.
then the 311 North Spring Street location, 8 months of renovations will be done, and the library will be open again on May 18th.
We're excited, and we'll be putting out more information about this. So
Very good. If people want to find out more on their own, where can they go?
they can visit the library website at beaverdamlibrary.org, or they can give us a call or stop in at 1701 North Spring Street.
Very good. Sarah Conoyer of the Beaver Dam Community Library. The hour flew right by. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Terry.
And thanks, everybody, for listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.